Each gust of wind playfully yanked at her short, wild hair, causing it to whip around her face like a fiery tendrils dancing in a chimney. Standing atop the hill, her gaze was fixed on the horizon, obscured by the swirling mist of smoke and deep red hues. A fearful pounding echoed in her chest, filling her with doubt about whether she could get through with a scratch. She glanced at her arm, the clawed scar, a stark reminder of her battle with a dark force, a testament to her survival and a new status as a warrior. Amanda's gaze fixed on the winged beings navigating the shimmering, enchanted fog, and she pursed her lips, a silent acknowledgement of the Ardou's journey through this mystical terrain. A chilling aura permeated the air, heavy with a palpable sense of dread and despair that seems to wither and seek to consume all who approached. Feeling the warmth of her blood, she clenched her hand into a fist, the crimson drops sliding between her fingers. Her heart throbbed with pure, unadulterated rage. A hot tide coursing through her veins, fueled by the vivid recollection of her village being devoured by malevolent powers, and its inhabitants slain and warped into grotesque abominations. With a fortifying breath, Amanda looked at her arms, the deeply scarred and burned tattoos, a stark reminder of the hellish experiences etched into her skin. Gazing intently, her wide eyes tracked the hypnotic dance of the burgundy mist, while the encroaching darkness seeped into the surroundings, bending everyone to its corrupting powers. I'll face it, destroyed from within. I have nothing left to lose, spoke Amanda coldly. A wave of regret washed over her as she envisioned her village twisted into monstrous forms, her heart aching with the lingering question of how she alone escaped such a fate. Her soul was filled with an unsettling grief, while anger coursed through her veins, fueling the desire for vengeance. Amanda's hand tightened on her spear, its runes a testament to its making, while a red ribbon bearing a few strands of hair fluttered in wind. A fleeting glance at her weapon conjured a wave of bittersweet memories, a longing for the children she would lost and the maternal bond she once held. With a lump in her throat and a flutter in her chest, she summoned her bravery to take a tentative step, and then another. A mournful wind wailed as the menacing clouds churned and twisted overhead, with their deep groans echoing with the pent-up energy. As crimson lightning spread across the sky, a mighty roar echoed with its intensity. Amanda's heart hammered against her ribs as her fingers tightened on her magical spear, a cold weight in her hand, each etched memory a phantom ache of those lost recently. As she moved forward, a chilling sensation of the darkness closing in became apparent, its icy grasp yearning to taint her very being. She clenched her jaw, drawing on the remains of her bravery, vengeance, a potent whisper in her soul. This ends now, yelled Amanda. She watched the dark, churning clouds, captivated by the scarlet streaks of lightning and the wine-colored mist that coiled and spat menacingly. A piercing scream reverberated, its sharp edges embedding themselves in her consciousness. A guttural scream escaped her lips, her fingers digging into the rough shaft of her spear. Now! Fueled by a potent mix of adrenaline and a burning desire to avenge her fallen loved ones, her initial slow steps transformed into a desperate, rapid flight against the encroaching darkness. Her descent down the hill was a rush as the wind aggressively pulled at her hair and bit her bare skin with icy fingers. She stared captivatedly at the dark cloud, its burgundy mist churning like a tempest, forming a ghastly demonic face, complete with menacing horns and bare fangs, a terrifying sound of hissing and snarling emanating from its bottom core. A bright flash cut through the darkness, revealing eyes that burned like an embers. "You dare to come here?" snarled the entity. As Amanda heard the words, her lips tightened into a firm line, signaling her acceptance to the no turning back reality. With her heart thundering in a frenetic rhythm, she felt the cold dampness of sweat slide down her back. As she ran, her feet pounding on the earth towards the swallowing darkness, the entity snarled. Its voice was punctuated by the tremendous roar of crimson lightning. With a mighty cry, Amanda launched her spear, its flight a blur against the sky. The object began to emit a sapphire glow, a beacon cutting through the oppressive darkness and illuminating a path before her, as the gentle whispers of her departed loved ones seemed to beckon her deeper into entity's core. Her soul swelled with courage, urging her legs to pump harder as she caught a flash of sharp, dark clouds lunge behind her. The moment she broke through the first veil of darkness, her nostrils were filled with a pungent odor that momentarily seized her lungs with its fiery force. A sudden sharp pain pressed her arm, and the warmth of her blood tickling down was immediately noticeable. With a wince, Amanda pressed her lips together, her free hand instinctively going to her wound as she resolved to keep moving. She couldn't tear her eyes away from the spear, its sapphire glow flickering in the distance, a guiding light in the encroaching darkness. "I can do this!" hissed Amanda. Despite the strain, her feet pounded on the earth, a steady rhythm of perseverance. Her thoughts of those she had lost fueled her, a wellspring of strength that propelled her onward. With a sudden slash, another claw tore into her skin, and she screamed, feeling the intense heat on her wounded back. As Amanda fell to her knees, her gaze fixed on the slow, dark bloom of blood escaping the wound on her arm, each drop a tiny warm pulse against her skin. The air was thick with a metallic aroma, underscored by the pungent, almost sour smell that seemed to emanate from the darkness. Hiding just beyond her view, the creatures, formerly human, made their terrifying hissing and snarling sounds. A wave of dread washed over her as the thought of her revenge mission failing entered her mind, leading to a rough scream of frustration. She observed her quivering fingers, her lips turning into a grim line, her eyes darting to the unsteady glow of her spear. She heard the faint whispers of her cherished people, but they were almost completely obscured by frantic, screeching noises of beasts that circled her in the blackness. "You're pathetic. No wonder everyone around you dies. You can't even keep yourself alive, Amanda," spoke the entity calmly. She felt the icy grip of its claws, inching nearer, sending a shiver rising down her spine. She instantly flinched, the darkness feeling like a palpable force trying to find its way into her soul. "You couldn't save your daughter." "Leave me alone!" yelled Amanda. She fought to dispel the entity's chilling presence from her thoughts, conjuring images of her people's joyful laughter and the vibrant, bustling village. Her gaze remained fixed on the spear's pulsating light, observing the minuscule, iridescent motes that danced and spun with vibrant energy. "You were marked, chosen," whispered the entity. As Amanda lifted her head, the swirling darkness before her pulsed with crimson flashes, a terrifying spectacle that made her feel as if she were confronting a demon. She felt the icy grip on its claws sting into her, a chilling sensation that made her wounds weep with an eerie, unnatural color. Out of the shadows emerged twisted creatures, their misshapen forms quivering. Her eyes welled up, and a few tears escaped, blurring her vision, as she recognized a familiar face, now marred with change. Burgundy magic pulsed through the dark veins, transforming their eyes into ghostly orbs. With a silent gulp, Amanda shut her eyes, the words trapped within her. Her thoughts drifted to her village, a place when everyone held each other in a high regard during her reign. As she applied blue paint to create tribal markings, she remembered the whisper soft sensation of her daughter's minuscule fingers caressing her cheek. With each memory that resurfaced, her heart thumbered with a frantic rhythm, a newfound strength blooming as she realized the entity's grip would loosen if she had a reason to resist. Upon a mix of love and vengeance churned within her soul, a protective yet constricting embrace around her mind. Suddenly, a cacophony of screams and whispers merged into a single overwhelming voice that echoed inside her mind. Her veins throbbed with a rush of blood, a vital, potent rhythm that echoed the profound emotions of her heart. Her breath quickened as a few drops of sweat slid down her skin. A shiver ran down through her. As Amanda blinked, her eyes opened, a horde of contorted monsters sprang into view, their razor sharp claws poised to tear her to shreds. Suddenly, they were suspended in the air, defying gravity with an almost magical stillness, their screeches echoing through the darkness. Amanda's eyes became completely white as she felt a surge of power flow through her. She extended her hands, her fingers slowly twisting as she watched the creatures wither in agony. Her magic sent shivers through their bodies as she commanded them to snap their own limbs, shattering like brittle twigs. With a grip of her hands, she unleashed a magical force that sent dark blood flying and the creatures' brains just bursting from their skulls. In that moment, they crashed into the ground with a deafening thud, and Amanda, a tremor running through her, pushed herself up from her knees, her eyes fixated on the burgundy mist as it blended into rich sapphire hue. With her head tilted towards the inky clouded heavens, her eyes fluttered with an arcane luminescence, a profound sense of calm settled over her, as if her anxieties had simply ceased to exist. She stole a glance at her arm, observing how the skin had mended seamlessly, as if her body was brand new. Without hesitation, she advanced towards the spear, observing the pulsating red glow within its etched symbols. Amanda clutched her weapon, a faint whisper of her people resonating with her as she profoundly raised her head to watch the sapphire gleam against the dark, stormy clouds.